All right, this is section 7.4 is your turn continued. I'm going to finish the denominator of this and then we'll go ahead and simplify. So nothing happens to the 5 and the x to the negative third right now, and then that's multiplied by, and then I'm going to take care of this power rule, 4 cubed, which is 64, and then x to the negative 1 cubed, which is x to the negative 3, and then y to the negative 3 cubed, which is y to the negative 9. Now I'm going to take care of the numbers. The 5 and the 25 have a common factor, so I'll take that out, and the 6 and the 64 and the 4 have a common factor, so I'll take that one out. And then there's no common factors anymore. Now I'm going to simplify the numerator. So we have 5 times 1, which is 5, and we have x squared and x to the 6, so 2 plus 6 here, which is x to the 8, and then y, and then 4 plus a negative 10, and that's going to give us a negative 6. And if you don't like to deal with addition of integers either, go ahead and simplify that by putting those down in the denominator. And then in the denominator, I'm going to copy the 16, and I have x to the negative 3 and x to the negative 3, so I'm going to add those negative 3's because that's a product rule because they're both in the same places, right? So x to the negative 6 down here, and then a y to the negative 9. Now with the quotient rules, that's, remember, where we sometimes run into some problems. Now I don't have a blank page past this, so I'm going to use this area over here to continue. So we have an 8 minus a minus 6, and we have a negative 6 minus a minus 9. And if you want to do it that way, that's perfectly okay. So we have 5, and then minus a minus is a plus, so x to the 8th plus 6, which is 14, and then y, negative 6 plus 9, which is positive 3, and then our denominator still holds 16. And so that's one way to do that and get our final answer. Now there's also another way to do it, right? We could say that this is, let me do this in a different color. We have 5, and that's an x to the 8th, and then we have the x to the 6th coming to the numerator, and we have a y to the 9th coming to the numerator, the 16 staying put, and the y to the negative 6th going down to the denominator. And so now we see 8 plus 6, which is 14, and we see 9 minus 6, which is 3. And so we see the same answer coming from this as that we got before. So a couple of different ways to do it. All right, now moving on to the next problem, we have just a product rule here. So it's this one plus this one, then plus this one. So we have x to the 3 plus 5, which is 8, but it's a negative, and then a negative 8 plus a 7. So negative 8 plus 7, and when we have integers, right, we have one positive and one negative, so we're going to subtract them and keep the sign that's common. So we're going to have an x to the negative 1, but we can't leave a negative 1. We have to say that's 1 over x. Take the reciprocal of x, and so that's going to be our final answer on that one. And now part F. Again, if you don't want to deal with the negative exponents, that's perfectly acceptable. So if you don't want to deal with them, we would say 2a cubed, and the a down here staying put, and the b squared, we're going to move that down to the denominator, and the b cubed, we're going to move that up to the numerator. And now from there, we can see quotient rule, 3 minus 1 and 3 minus 2, and that gives us 2a squared b to the first power. So that's one way to look at it. And then another way of looking at it is just simply to do 3 minus 1 here, and then minus 2 minus a minus 3 here, and we'll see that we still get the same answer. All right, hopefully those went well for you. You can keep practicing. In Lehman's 7.4, you're not going to see the negative exponents, and you're not going to see some as complicated as like Part D. But if you're getting those okay, you're doing really well, and you're going to be successful in everything that you are seeing in 7.4. All right, we'll come back and we'll be doing section 7.2.